A place that is spoken about only in whispers. A dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends. A place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view. But when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Saturday night edition of Darkness on the Edge of Town Paranormal Radio Show. I'm your host, Dave Schrader, co-host and producer. Sitting across the board from me, Mr. Tim Dennis. Good evening, Tim.
Good evening.
Well, it's nice to be back in studio live for a week.
Yeah.
And bringing a new show. For those of you, just so you know, tomorrow we will not be on air. Aw. That's right. The Vikings are playing tomorrow night, so we're being bumped for the Vikings.
I forgot my Vikings horn here. I should probably get it.
Although, if you've been following the season, I will admit that it's probably scarier than anything we've talked about on the show.
It is, yeah. And tomorrow night's game going to be scarier than anything we've had on the show in the last 3 months.
Yeah, the Monsters of the Midway.
Well, yeah. Well, not only that, but the Vikings' ability to choke. That in itself can be pretty scary.
That is amazing. But, yeah, stay tuned. Hey, Tim, I got to go out last week for my birthday. I got to investigate the Seven Sisters Inn in Florida, Ocala, Florida.
And how are the Seven Sisters doing? Seriously, folks,
yeah.
I got to tell you.
Dude, all I got to tell you is if you go stay there, folks, get the safari room. Jungle room. I'm not sure what they call it. Just safari room, I think.
It's love in the jungle, baby.
Dude, it was the best room ever.
Yeah?
And this bed was soul-sucking. I got into it and just never wanted to get out. It was beautiful. But I'll tell you, the place doesn't let down, man. First night there, it was me and one other couple in the house, and I had banging from the walls behind me.
I bet you did.
Shut up. They were upstairs. Actually, it was coming from the wall right behind me. I had Nancy come on downstairs, Planeta. And I'm like, Nancy, what's going on? And the wall that it was banging was the manager's office, which is locked. There was nobody in the office. And, I mean, you could hear it, boom, 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 just kicking the wall. It was great. And then you could, when we started talking about it, you could actually hear it like it was walking around on the walls. It was an amazing night of activity at the Seven Sisters Inn. Then, during the investigation on the second night that I was there, I went in to check on the computer to make sure the show was running and everything was going fine. And behind me, I hear, "Hey, Dave." And I turn around, and there's nobody in my room. I'm in there all alone. So I look out in the hall thinking maybe somebody had called me from out in the hall. Nobody there. Then the wrap-up. This is the killer, Tim, right? Final night. I'm the only one left to stay. I'm staying one extra night just to relax, unwind, right?
Yep.
And again, about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, I hear these heavy footsteps. Boom, 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 upstairs. But behind it, you hear this, like they're dragging, dude, like the biggest wooden case you've ever heard in your life. And they're boom, boom, and then doors start slamming. There was one other couple also staying there that night, and they were an older couple that were staying up in the one suite. So I asked them the next day, I'm like, what's going on with this, you know? And the people that work there said, Dave, this is just the normal activity we have in this house. So I will say Seven Sisters Inn is a very interesting place. It's in Ocala, Florida. Crazy activity going on there. You know, if you're a paranormal investigator, I'd highly recommend you go check it out. It's a pretty amazing place. But it's nice to be back in studio. And tonight we got a hell of a show, Tim.
Yes, we do, sir.
Couple things changed around tonight. Normally, you know, we have Nicole Remini on. We have international news correspondent Adrian Lee. In lieu of what's going on tonight, we've asked Nicole to not be part of the show because we're going to be talking. Check this out. I'm excited about this. This is the geek fanboy in me, Tim.
This almost sounds bad, dude. And we asked Nicole not to be in the show.
Not to be in the show tonight.
We had a real star on tonight.
No, that's not what we meant. But, ladies and gentlemen, coming up at the 9:30 mark in about 20 minutes, we're going to be talking to actor Bruce Campbell. He's going to be here next week in Minneapolis with the premiere of his new movie, My Name is Bruce, and we're going to be talking to Bruce about his movies, and going to have him on for a half an hour. We're going to also be giving away some My Name is Bruce autographed movie posters.
Nice.
How cool is that?
Yep.
So you're going to want to check that out. But right now it's time to go to the one person who didn't call in sick on me this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, Bree Sanders.
Now it's time for all the news that's in the news from the world of the paranormal with the supernatural stories of the strange, national news correspondent and mistress of misery, Bree Sanders.
Good evening, Bree. That is just a crazy noise, Tim. How are you doing tonight, Bree?
I'm doing great.
Well, thanks for stepping in for the ailing international news correspondent who is, I guess, sick and unable to be a part of this. I don't mean to cut away, but Tim, Joran Vandersloot claims that he sold Natalie Holloway to a mystery man.
Really?
They're breaking the news on Fox right now, on the Fox channel. So for those of you that have been following the Natalie Holloway case, Joran Vandersloot is speaking to Greta Van Susteren on right now, talking about the fact that he actually sold Natalie to somebody.
Huh.
So, interesting stuff. How's that for an opening the news? What do you think about that, Bree?
I don't know if I can top that.
Well, what do I know it's international news. You don't deal with that junk, right? What do you? Where are you going to start us off this evening?
Actually, we're going to go to Raleigh, North Carolina. I had to throw this in because it's another food assault story. In North Carolina, a shopper clubbed an alleged carjacker with a frozen turkey last week as he tried to steal a woman's car in a grocery store parking lot. The police say that this 30-year-old man stole money from a gas station, then began beating a woman named Irene Bailey because he was trying to steal her car, and all these shoppers came to her rescue, and one of them started beating the guy with a frozen turkey.
Did he beat the stuffing out of him?
I could try like bang.
That is that's horrible. So we've got a drive-by turkey beating. Well, that's good. Well, it's good to know people will come to each other's aid, though. There's so many of these times you watch these. Oh my goodness, we watch these crimes occur, and people are left, beaten and bloody. But people actually jump to the aid of this woman who was being carjacked and beat him with a frozen turkey. That's great. Well, that's good news. All right, where are we off to next?
Good news. Actually, another food assault story happened in Port St. Lucie, Florida. A man faces domestic battery charges after he allegedly hit his girlfriend with a sandwich as she was driving on I-95. Police said the 19-year-old man became angry and hit the woman in the arm and the face with a sandwich, knocking her glasses off so she couldn't see, and she almost wrecked the car. And then I guess he used the rearview mirror to shatter the windshield. I mean, this guy's nuts. Anyway, so 2 food assault stories this week.
2 food assault stories. Can you believe that, Tim?
We love those.
I don't. I actually have my own local story.
What's that?
If you guys are ready for it.
I am. This
actually came from the Star Tribune. A couple of weeks ago, Adrian had his paranormal naughty story in public. Mm-hmm. 2 people in public. Turns out the Golden Gophers weren't the only ones who got screwed last Saturday at the Metrodome.
What happened?
During the Iowa-Minnesota game, while the Hawkeyes were scoring at will on the field Saturday night, 2 fans from the Hawkeye State were scoring elsewhere in the Metrodome.
Really?
I kid you not. Police say a man and a woman were having relations in a bathroom stall as a crowd cheered them on because obviously it was 55-0. There's nothing to cheer on the field. Ross Walsh, 26 of Linden, Iowa, and Lois Feldman, 38 of Carroll, Iowa, were cited for misdemeanor indecent conduct. Walsh was released to his girlfriend and Feldman to her husband, police say. That could be a little hairy.
Awkward.
A security guard came upon the scene in the handicap stall, police said. Police were summoned, and they separated the 2 with fire hose, evidently.
Oh, my goodness. If this guy just would have stuck like with the guy in the last story, and instead of, taking somebody else's wife, just beat his own girlfriend with his bologna sandwich.
Oh, no.
What? His bologna sandwich?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's wrong.
And rumor has it the 2 were separated with a turkey. Thank you very much. No.
Really? So somebody...
Yeah.
They just hooked up randomly at a game and...
2 Iowans in a stall at the Metrodome. It sounds like the punchline to a joke, really.
Yes, it does.
Or the setup. But it really happened.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
And not necessarily paranormal, but it is naughty nonetheless. All right, where are we off to next, Bree?
Well, this one, people should go to the Darkness website and look this up. There's a video for this. This is crazy. There's a woman named Rosemary Alvarez. She started having numbness in her arm and blurred vision. She went to the emergency room twice, had a CAT scan, and they couldn't find out what was going on. And the doctors eventually took a closer look at the MRI, and they saw a worm that was way down in her brainstem, which is, as far into the brain as you can be. And they actually, I think they didn't really know what it was at first. They just saw something really odd. They took her into surgery, and they thought it was probably going to be some kind of strange tumor or something, but it was a worm in her brain.
Right, and I think I read about this. Isn't it from undercooked pork, or somebody doesn't wash their hands properly?
Oh, it's so disgusting. And
the frightening thing is the thing about that news story, and you can go watch the news story on our site, the thing that's most frightening to me about that, Tim, is the doctor says, here's the doctor's line. Oh, yeah, I've done 5 of these in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
5 of these surgeries where he had removed this brain worm from people because somebody's eating uncooked pork properly or
kissing their dog on the mouth. I know. No one should ever kiss their dog on the mouth.
Not washing your hands after going to the restroom. And then people are preparing your food and you can get brain worms.
Yeah.
Kind of beats back the old earwig story, doesn't it?
Didn't they do that in the old Flash Gordon movie? Isn't that how they got the worm into the head in order to control Dr.
Zarkov? That was Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan.
That's what it was, yeah.
Remember he puts it in Chekhov's head?
Yeah, that was it.
All right, Bree, that's hideous.
How disturbing is that, though? That's so, man, so disgusting. Anyway.
Hey, you know what? If I can mention this real quickly, this is kind of a cool story I just stumbled upon as well. And Tim, this is good news for diabetics everywhere.
Ooh, okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
They've actually located in outer space, and this is how I want to know, how the hell did they find this, right? Key molecule for life found in a habitable region of the galaxy. Okay?
Okay.
A sugar molecule linked to the origin of life was discovered in a potentially habitable region of our galaxy. The molecule, called glycolide, was spotted in the large star-forming area. How do you spot something in a star? How do you spot sugar floating in space?
You know, if you got someone who's got too active of a sweet tooth, they could spot sugar on the butt of a gnat.
It's in a large star-forming area of space around 26,000 light years from Earth in the less chaotic outer regions of the Milky Way. So this is good news because we have sugar and milk. Now all we need is cereal, and we've got the perfect.
Well, if you've ever eaten a Milky Way, you know there's plenty of sugar in it.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. But they're saying that there is actually sugar. I don't know how this happens. Seriously, they're able to, through telescopic look, they're able to find sugar in outer space, but we can't find Osama bin Laden on the planet.
Because he's hiding behind the sugar.
That's it. Damn it. I was unprepared for this. It is a true story. Go check it out, folks. It's strange but weird. Go on. Where are we off to next?
We are going to Los Angeles. Burlesque model Dita Von Teese has sued a book publisher for using her image on a book cover without her permission. Now, the book is called In Twilight's Shadow, and it's, I guess, the author's Patty O'Shea. She's a paranormal writer, and this is a paranormal romance novel about demon hunting, which features Dita Von Teese's face close up on the cover. So that was interesting.
Yeah, well, and she's a pretty woman. I don't know why they'd have her be the demon. Or is she supposed to be the demon hunter character?
That's probably what it was.
We have to take a quick break here. Stay with us, folks. You're listening to the best in Paranormal Talk Radio. Good evening. Welcome back to the Darkness on the Edge of Town Paranormal Radio Show. I'm your host, Dave Schrader. Sitting across the board from me, Tim Dennis. And joining us somewhere from the bowels of hell, Bree Sanders. Good evening, Bree.
Hi.
Now, Bree, we're going to have you maybe stick with us a little bit. I know we were going to have you just till 9:30 and then cut you free. But we might have you stay on for an extra few minutes because Tim just called Bruce Campbell.
I did.
Bruce is in front of 300 people doing a Q&A right now, so he said, hey, you're going to have to call me back in 15 minutes.
No, he said in exactly 17 minutes.
Well, exactly.
Exactly.
That'll show you, Bree.
If I'm 1 second late, my finger blows straight off.
That's right, baby.
Oh, wow.
All right, so let's see where we go next here in the world.
I'm going to go to North Carolina.
Okay.
There's a family there that claims to have a fingerprint from Bigfoot. Now, it's kind of a detailed story, but I guess they have a cat that they believe has kind of adopted this local Bigfoot family. They think that when the cat wants to get out of the house, that they take that as a sign that this Sasquatch family of 4, they think it's like a mom, a dad, teenager, and a baby are nearby. Now, the family actually set up a little, I think, a white lawn chair by the woods, in their backyard. And they claim that the Sasquatch take the food, and sometimes they take it every day, sometimes they take it after a week, but when the food goes, the cat also disappears, which is kind of, I think, where they got this, idea that the cat has befriended this Bigfoot family.
Nice.
But they say that recently, which would have been May 2008, one of the Sasquatch inspected the father's pickup truck, leaving fingerprints and nose prints on the passenger window. And the police actually came and took the fingerprints and all that stuff, but he wouldn't, I guess, put his name on it because he didn't want to be involved with, this type of stuff. So, but they set up also a video camera at the location, and when it's working, they say that the Bigfoot family will not take the food, and when the camera quits, then the food disappears.
And that's kind of convenient, huh?
Right. But they also say that they have 2 videos of the Sasquatch, but they say one is just the arm of the black Sasquatch father, and the other is the hand of the teenager. Like you can see pink skin, like a.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And I haven't seen those videos, but they claim that they do. So you can also go to the Darkness News Desk website on that one, too. There's a picture of what they're saying is Bigfoot's fingerprints. So
yeah, go to darknessradio.com and click on the news desk there by Bree. You'll see, for the story, you'll see the fingerprint of Bigfoot. And now the cops were they knew what they got, right? But they weren't interested in really going on record?
Exactly, yes.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
That's law enforcement at its finest.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess, they're probably looked at kind of strangely if they tell people, oh, yeah, by the way, we have a Bigfoot. That's going to be the episode of Cops I want to watch. So, all right, where are we off to next?
I wanted to mention this story. There was a guy in Covington, Louisiana, that had his cell phone in his shirt pocket, and he claims it saved his life. A stray .45 caliber bullet hit his chest while he was mowing the lawn, and he said it hit really hard. Obviously, it felt like a stone that the tractor had kicked up. But he pulled the phone out of his pocket and it fell apart. Now, the doctor said that the phone, he confirmed that the phone is the reason that he wasn't killed. Now, and it's funny because they mentioned that there are, several reports of people that always carry their Bibles in their pockets that have saved, their lives from gunshots and whatnot. So he's claiming the same thing, basically, that he says that God told him to put the phone in his overalls chest pocket instead of putting it in his pants pocket as he usually did. Which is strange.
It is
quite a coincidence. But
as a coincidence as it would be, when I was a teenager, I had a car accident with a buddy of mine, and I had a head. This was the '80s. I was going through my Bruce Springsteen phase, so I had my head, bandana on, and for some reason I pulled it around to the front, so the knot was in the front, and I was joking around, and we hit the truck in front of us, and my head went into the windshield, and the paramedic showed me the blade of glass he took out of the knot. He said, "Why did you have the knot in the front?" Because this wasn't Tupac time where you wear the knot in the front. This was the early '80s.
Because you were ahead of your time, fool.
I was ahead of my time. So he goes, "Why did you have that?" I said, "I don't know why." And he pulled out this blade of glass and showed me this blade of glass. And I had just a nick on my forehead, just a little nick. The glass had actually hit the knot and went through the knot and stopped. So it is interesting. Of all times to pull my knot around and be goofy, to do it then and end up in this car accident and have the glass could have gone into my skull, I guess, and killed me.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, see? So, it sounds strange that they would, but, again, why did he put it in his front pocket? Well, of course, because you got a front pocket on your bib overall, so I guess maybe he'd already eaten his sandwich and he had room in there now.
If he's telling the truth and he normally put it in his pants pocket, that is pretty crazy.
What, his ham sandwich or his phone?
Either.
All right.
All right. I have a story coming out of Illinois.
Okay.
This happened earlier this month, but I think they just updated the story this week. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard about this car. People are wondering whether they're saying maybe magnetic waves from a visiting UFO dented and wrinkled the side of a car that was driving in Illinois on November 4th.
They think what?
Now, it's strange. You can actually, I'll send this link to, I'll put it up on the Darkness site. It's www.nuforc.org. And it's the National UFO Reporting Center website. Basically what happened is this girl, let's see, on November 4th, she was driving down the road. She claims that there was nobody around. I guess it was late at night, or actually, she said around 9:19 p.m. She describes it as feeling a nudge against the car, like just nothing, not even enough to really stop and look to see if anything happened to the car. She said there was nobody around. She didn't see any deer, which are what most people are thinking, did this. She just looked over later on and noticed that her mirror was missing, her side view mirror. And then she saw the side of the car was really damaged. And basically, I mean, it's pretty bad. You can see these pictures. It's really odd. And the police initially thought that she'd been sideswiped, but the entire side of the car is kind of dented in, and there's no paint missing. And you know how when you get into an accident like that, you exchange paint on the car, paint transfers basically, and scratches. There's no scratches. It's just this giant kind of set of dents. So now, I mean, obviously, like they're saying, a deer could have done it, but this a guy that owns a body shop in Chicago that was looking at the car basically was saying, it would be interesting if it was a deer because there's no blood and there was no hair found on the car.
Huh.
So, but you know how...
Another strange twist of fate, Bree. This is no joke. A week ago, I'm driving with my son. I go pick him up from his mom's so I can have him for the night. And we're driving, and this deer jumps out in the road in front of us. And we kind of watch it, and we're like, oh, look at the deer. And all of a sudden I look up, and there's another one coming. And so I hit the brakes, and I start to slow down. And it was a funny thing, this deer kind of is hesitant. Like, he wants to run across the road, but he's not sure. And no kidding you. So as I'm stopping, he kind of walks up and hits my car with his butt, like he's hip checking me. Like, screw you, buddy, get off my road. And then he takes off running. My son and I just started laughing. I go, well, that was awkward. And he's got like two buddies standing in the ditch. But I again had no damage on my car, but it was just kind of a funny twist of fate that you'd have two stories back to back that I can deeply relate to.
Right.
What else? We got another quick short story here before we break off to commercial.
Sure. Actually, let me just add this in. On that note, there was a Minnesota deputy that this guy that's the Illinois director of MUFON, his name's Sam Matrano, I think. He interviewed a Minnesota deputy in 1979 that said his car kind of had the same thing happen to it. But he said this ball of energy went through his windshield, and it felt like he was hit by a 200-pound pillow. At the same time, the clock in the car was 14 minutes slow. But, then again, I don't know.
It is a Minnesota car, and it's just...
falling asleep, you know how you do.
They used to tell me that when I played football. It felt like hitting a 200-pound pillow.
Yeah.
Aw. Yeah. Aw.
You're just the cutest old pillow ever.
I used to give the warmest hugs when I was playing football. It was nice.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. This is getting paranormally weirder and weirder. You're listening, by the way, to the Darkness on the Edge of Town Paranormal Radio Show. We're talking to national news correspondent Bree Sanders. And Bree, why don't you got another story to wrap up here with?
Sure. For the fans of Ghost Hunters, the show, there is an interactive website that you can go to now, and it's called Join the Hunt. So you can go to jointhehunt.com. You can see ghost stories, ask TAPS members questions, vote on pictures of hauntings, learn how to ghost hunt with tutorials that they post, and, they have resources and stuff for you. But it's kind of, just a little social website. Again, it's called jointhehunt.com.
And the TAPS members will actually answer your questions there and do all that?
Supposedly they will, yeah.
Supposedly. Yeah. Look how skeptical. We'll talk. Wow. We believe in ghosts, Bigfoot, and Chupacabra, but I don't believe that TAPS is going to answer your emails off a website. I'm sorry. Now we're talking crazy.
No, they're good guys. They will.
Yeah.
Well, she laughs heartily.
Yeah.
They will. Whatever.
They're great. Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, go ahead. We'll go one more short one.
Okay. I'm just going to kind of read this. This was a story, a Dear Prudence story that came out last week. It's a girl writing saying that, her father's family, I guess she's had this little history of mental illness, and his family, they've always talked about her going to treatment. They invited her to her grandmother's birthday party. When she arrived, everyone was sitting solemnly in the living room, and the pastor was there. He explained to her that she was not mentally ill, but possessed by agents of Satan and in need of an exorcism. She said she choked back tears as she explained to them that she did not need any demons driven out, and the evening ended awkwardly, to say the least. So now I guess they invited her for Thanksgiving, and she doesn't know what to do. She said, I don't want to alienate them, but my symptoms are part of a real disorder and can be treated by medication. How do I explain to them that while I do want to spend time with them, it's not the Middle Ages, and I don't want or need an exorcism? I just thought that was funny.
Was there any answer?
No, I just thought.
Just drink some holy water and you should be good to go? Excellent. Well, Bree, thanks a lot for joining us here this evening and for filling in last minute like this. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's fine. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Hey, guys, stay tuned. Stay with us. We're going to be back with more Darkness on the Edge of Town Paranormal Radio Show. We're going to be joined by, Tim, I'm so excited about this. We're going to be joined by actor, cult favorite, Bruce Campbell.
And 300 of his friends.
That's right.
Yeah.
Talking about his brand new movie, My Name is Bruce, and here's a little clip for you.
I thought I told you to ditch all this monster movie crap.
You know his movies.
Maniac Cop? Moonwarp?
You know his name.
Bruce Campbell is the greatest actor of his generation.
Bruce Campbell.
Hey, I know that guy. Unlike most action stars, I can speak, what's the word, English.
He's kind to animals.
Time for some hooch. Hooch for the pooch.
He loves his fans.
Give me your autograph. Ever see Rawhide? Yeah. Well, then you gotta keep them doggies rolling.
And
Mr. Campbell, we need your help.
when your town's in trouble,
A group of teenagers unwittingly unleashed Wan Di, the Chinese god of war and protector of the dead. And unless you help us stop him, he will kill every one of us.
he's the only man
You need someone who can take on a heinous monster and stop him in his tracks.
for the job.
That would be me. Hip, hip, hooray! Showtime, huh?
Wan Di has been unleashed.
I'm sorry, was that unreached?
Grab your guns.
You guys ready for some violence? I'll just have to limp along with this 31 longbow.
45 long slide.
Long slide.
Grab your women.
Just want to move that hand.
Sorry about that.
It's time.
And get ready
Sure you ready for this, Bruce? Kid, I made a movie in Bulgaria. I'm ready for anything.
for the legend
Retreat!
they call
A rumble from below.
You never told me that this monster was real.
Bruce.
An old Wan Di.
I'm gonna stall the one-ton wonton
He's a protector of Bean Curd.
before he rips my head off and shoves it in my face.
Is his
It's just you and me, Top Ramen.
Bruce Campbell, Ted Raimi, and Ted Raimi.
Well, it's nice to know that tofu really is good for your health.
Wan Di is his.
My name is Bruce.
Where the heck did you find this Evil Dead shampoo?
Bruce, that's drain cleaner.
Maybe that would explain the burning sensation.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Darkness on the Edge of Town Paranormal Radio Show. I'm your host, Dave Schrader. Guess what, guys? Legendary cult movie actor Bruce Campbell is going to be in Minneapolis with his new film, My Name is Bruce, on Friday, December 5th, Saturday, December 6th, and Sunday, December 7th, hosting the spirited Q&A sessions immediately following the 7 and 9:40 p.m. showings at Landmarks Lagoon Cinema. The movie opens theatrically in Minneapolis on Friday, December 5th, in an exclusive run at Landmarks Lagoon Cinema. All showings of My Name is Bruce are open to the public. Tickets are available now. Go to www.landmarktheaters.com or at the Landmark Lagoon box office. Come on out and join Tim and I. We're going to be out there with cult movie actor Bruce Campbell. Thank you for joining us on the show this evening, Mr. Campbell.
Hey, good job with that intro. I think you got every fact correct. It's very thorough. If these people can't find it, then what are you going to do?
Exactly. We're going to drive them down there ourselves. I got a chance to see this movie. Another one I just love, right in the Bubba Hotep vein of great humor and comedy, and you're kind of getting into that whole deal. Now, this is your second movie that you've directed and written, correct?
Yeah, I directed some television before that, but this is my second feature. And so, it was a good chance to kind of improve on the first go-around and, in this case, torment the audience directly.
And this is a great movie for folks that are fans of Bruce Campbell's and fans of the comedy horror genre.
Well, it's for them. This is definitely a fan movie, and I make no bones about it, but it's sort of a parallel universe version of me and a parallel universe version of them.
Exactly. And for those of you that are not familiar with this, the movie will be coming out this Friday here in Minneapolis. The idea behind it is that some teenagers have unwittingly released this Chinese warlord of death, and he's cutting up a horrible death body count, and they go and they kind of convince Bruce Campbell to come fight the war for him because he starred in the Evil Dead movies and Army of Darkness, and Bruce,
right, and it's just a terrible idea.
Right, Bruce goes in there
like one of the world's worst ideas.
And I think in one of your pre-interviews I read like a year ago when you were talking about this movie, you said the death toll seems to grow a little bit when you come into the town of Gold Lake.
Exactly. As soon as Bruce shows up, people start to die. So it's not a good situation.
Well,
never hire an actor for anything.
It's definitely a fantastic movie. I really enjoyed it, and I think the group out there that follow you are going to enjoy it as well. I mean, you've built up a really kind of an amazing cult status as an actor, and you know the thing is, sometimes these cult status movies, you know, like Night of the Living Dead, it's a one in and out kind of deal. You never see these people again in anything major.
Sure, yeah.
But with what you did with the Evil Dead 1 and 2 movies, Army of Darkness, all the way through to now the fantastic TV series Burn Notice that you're a part of, and did I just hear you're signed on for like 4 or 5 more seasons of that show?
Yeah, every actor is, you know, when they do a TV show, they kind of have you, you know, for years and years. It's sort of like being on radio. And but I'm happy to be there because it's a cool new show that kind of came out of nowhere, and now it's the #1 show on cable. So it's fun. We're coming back next season for a third run.
Now, I had a question here from one of our listeners, Dave Caudell, and he says, besides the Evil Dead trilogy, his favorite movie is Bubba Hotep. And he was excited to hear that they're in the process of making a sequel, but we hear that you're not going to be reprising your role as Elvis. And
no, because the director and I could not come to terms on a script, which is pretty prevalent in this business. It happens all the time, you know, so it's nothing that's weird. But as a filmmaker, you know, he's got a right to make the movie. So that's what he's going to do with Ron Perlman as Elvis, and Paul Giamatti as Colonel Tom Parker. So,
oh, really?
You know, he's going to go for it.
Okay. Well, and for those of you that missed it, I'd recommend that movie as well. Bubba Hotep's a hilarious take. It's Bruce Campbell stars as an aging Elvis. He's swapped places with an Elvis impersonator so he could kind of get out on his own and have a little fun. Unfortunately, the impersonator is the one that died on the toilet. So Bruce, as Elvis, is living his life in an old folks' home now. And when a mummy shows up and starts sucking the life force of everybody, it's up to Elvis and a black JFK, played by Ozzie Davis, to come to the rescue. And God, that again ranks up there. And this is funny, Tim. You know, you get into these positions. How many movie stars and celebrities have we talked to? I get Bruce Campbell on. I feel like a 15-year-old idiot boy, geek boy.
Well, you know, those movies were. I think they caught the imagination because they're a little off kilter, and sometimes that's what people tend to like. You know, if you have a very mainstream idea, a lot of people can relate to it, but it doesn't have as much of an impact. I think sometimes when you have your own individual plan and approach, it will not appeal to as many people, but I think it will appeal more so to those people than the average movie. So, you know, that's why I'll meet a guy with the poster for Army of Darkness tattooed on his entire back. And so, you know, and boy, I have nothing but good things to feel about that. And you know, we have no ill will for those early movies or the people's devotion to them. They want more. You know, they want part 4, but we're not sure if we can give it.
Well, right. Isn't Sam Raimi just signed on for Spider-Man 4?
Yeah, he's doing that. He's got 18 kids, and you know, I'm doing this TV show in Miami. So we both have day jobs that are going to keep us pretty busy. And you know, you want to make those movies when you can really make them. Yeah,
no doubt. No, and again, that's kind of I mean, you guys said pretty much all you had to say in those movies anyway, right? For the people that aren't familiar with it, Evil Dead came out. And what year was Evil Dead out?
Well, we've made an Evil Dead movie in in 3 different decades. The first one was shot in 1979. The second one was 1986, and the third one was 1991. So we've been sort of doling it out over the decades. So
slowly spoon-feeding
us. I owe one this decade, but I better hurry up.
Now, I've got a question again from our listeners. Kimber wanted to know, are you going to be going out? I guess Dragon Con's been trying to court you for a while in Atlanta, Georgia. Are you familiar with that? And are you going to be coming out to Dragon Con soon?
Well, anything I'm actually doing rather than rumors is always going to be on my website, just bruce-campbell.com. And it'll take you anywhere you need to go. But there are so many conventions out there, I can't keep track. They're breeding like rabbits, and someone has to stop it.
Well, we have to take a quick break, Mr. Campbell. If you'll stay with us for a minute or two while we go to commercial, we'll come back with a couple more questions and wrap up at the top of the hour. You're listening to Darkness on the Edge of Town Paranormal Radio Show with our guest, Bruce Campbell. We'll be back with more Good evening. Welcome back to the Darkness on the Edge of Town Paranormal Radio Show. Our guest is legendary actor Bruce Campbell. He's going to be in Minneapolis with his new film, My Name is Bruce, next Friday, December 5th, on the 6th, Saturday, and on 7th, Sunday. He's going to be hosting a spirited Q&A session immediately following the 7 p.m. and 9:40 p.m. shows at Landmarks Lagoon Cinema. The movie opens theatrically in Minneapolis on Friday, December 5th, in an exclusive run at Landmarks Lagoon Cinema. All showings of My Name is Bruce are open to the public. Tickets are available right now. Tim and I are going to be out there. Come on out and join us and see Bruce Campbell. You'll get to see a fantastic movie and get some Q&A time with him as well. Go to www.landmarktheaters.com or just visit the Landmark Lagoon box office. We're back on the show. We have with us Bruce Campbell. And Bruce, right now with all of the remakes that are going on in Hollywood, is there a movie of yours that you've done that you really wish you could step back into and do again, knowing what you know now?
Well, no, I would. I just get choosier. So, the more you stick around, that's what I found. That early on, I would do anything just because, as an actor, you want to build up credits. So you don't question anything: the script, director, where they're shooting, when, how much they're paying you. But then, you stick around long enough, you start to have more criteria. So now, I probably wouldn't make some of the movies I made in the '80s, but that was then.
With what I've been reading about My Name is Bruce, and again, for those of you that are tuning in, our guest is actor Bruce Campbell, and Bruce has been seen in the Evil Dead movies, Army of Darkness, and his new movie is called My Name is Bruce, and it's going to be out this week. A fantastic kind of comedy horror movie where he actually spoofs himself. He plays a caricature version of Bruce Campbell and goes into town to fight it.
Let's hope that he does.
Yeah, exactly. No, you did. I said I've seen the movie. It's a great spoof version of it. As a matter of fact, I had a interesting question that came in from Paul Bradford here. He says, in the film, they call me Bruce. My name is Bruce. Your wardrobe is somewhat similar to that of your character you play on Burn Notice. Is that more the kind of guy you are in real life, like the Tommy Bahama kind of guy?
I'm definitely a Tommy Bahama guy. If I have a choice of wearing something in a TV show that fits the character and fits me too, that works for me. I just like comfortable stuff, and it just sort of happens that if you want a swinger actor character, you put him in a dumb shirt, and Sam Axe on Burn Notice is sort of he's his own kind of swinger, but with a Miami flair. So he's got more of the probably easier Caribbean look.
What other movies are you working on right now?
Because it took me 2 years to finish this one, and I'm going back to work on Burn Notice Season 3 in March. So
now
I'll be touring until December. So then I'm going to be crawling home and, drooling for a month.
You actually built this, the set for My Name is Bruce on your property in Oregon? Is that correct?
I thought, what the heck, the best way to have real control over the situation is to build it. So I'm a big fan of creating those fake worlds. And the only way to do that is to have as much control as possible. And on a low budget, you can't always afford to block down streets and pay off merchants and cops and all that sort of stuff. So we actually saved a little bit of money even while spending money on building the town. But by building the town, you could put it wherever you wanted, whatever worked for anybody. So
now you've got
that
this.
That was that plan.
You've got
your Western town I can't do anything with.
That's not true. There could be the sequel. My Name is still Bruce.
Not on my property.
Not
anymore. That was a one-shot deal.
That's a one-shot deal, huh? With the TV shows, too, and for those people that aren't familiar, now, two of the best TV shows that I've enjoyed over the last 10, 15 years was Briscoe County Jr. And why do you feel there was such an abrupt end to that show? I mean, it was popular with the fans. Everybody I knew that actually tuned in for the show loved it.
No,
and
it was good old-fashioned ratings, and Fox had to start paying their bills. They were expanding tremendously from a small startup. They used to be considered the teeny network, and they had to pay some bills, I think, and so they had to cut bait. And we were a fairly expensive, kind of difficult period show where the ratings started strong, and then they sort of taper off. So I think didn't necessarily belong on Fox. It belonged on CBS, but CBS at the time would never have developed a show like Briscoe, yet Fox would have. So it was, it's those crazy TV anomalies.
Right, and I'm just curious, too, because we host a paranormal radio show, and you've been in all these great horror movies and kind of these fun little deals. Have you ever had a paranormal experience yourself, UFOs, ghosts, anything that you've ever seen?
No, the closest I ever came was creating a UFO and sending it out in the neighborhood in convincing people that it was a UFO. So I've created a paranormal experience, but I've not experienced a paranormal experience.
Well done. Nice way to mess with us. Oregon, Tim, that's right by Trout Lake, Washington, which means all the UFOs I've seen out at the Assetti Ranch are just Bruce Campbell screwing with me.
That's what it is, yeah.
Exactly. I'm just messing with you with a cleaner bag and some balsa wood and some birthday candles.
I never knew it was that simple. Well, yes, I did.
It really is. You take a frame out of balsa wood, you built a rectangular frame, and the cleaner bags, in my day, they were the clear kind. They still pretty much have them. You put that over the frame because the balsa wood is very light, and then you have a crosshatch at the bottom where you put your candles so that the heat, when you light them, the heat goes up into the bag and then lifts this very light structure. If you have, probably 20-some-odd candles.
Yeah, they're having problems with this. They're having problems with this over in Europe. At wedding ceremonies, they're releasing these candle balloons, and people are...
See what it is. So I sent that out, and it actually got into the local paper.
Oh, did you?
Someone saw a UFO, and it was more than one sighting. And then in a subsequent paper, it had been debunked because someone saw the wreckage on their garage from one of these vessels.
Very cool. Bruce, I want to thank you very much. I know you're busy and you're on the road and you're at some movie premieres. Are you in Chicago right now?
Yeah, doing Chicago right now. And then we move on to the big bad city of Decatur, Illinois.
Wow. All the way down to Decatur, huh?
See you later, Decatur.
Decatur, and then Minneapolis. Where else can people check out all of your stops along the way on your website?
Oh, absolutely. We show them every stop, and we'll give them links to the various theaters. A lot of it is the landmark theaters, and they're really a good chain.
And we'll put a link up to that on our site, folks. So go to darknessradio.com, and we'll have a link up for Bruce Campbell, and that way you can check out, because we have a nice global audience that tune into the show as well on the live stream. So we'll get people to come out and check out the movie. Again, My Name is Bruce. It opens here in Minneapolis Friday, December 5th, 6th, and 7th. They're going to be hosting a spirited Q&A session with actor Bruce Campbell immediately following the 7 and 9:40 shows at Landmarks Lagoon Cinema. The movie opens right here in Minneapolis. It's an exclusive run only at the Landmark Lagoon Cinema. All showings of My Name is Bruce is open to the public. Tickets are available now at landmarktheaters.com or stop in at the Landmark Lagoon box office. Mr. Campbell, big fans. Thanks a lot for spending the night here with us, and continued success, sir, on Burn Notice.
You betcha. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And all of you, stay tuned. We're going to be back with more. We've got an interesting show for you this evening, as if we haven't already had interesting, Tim. We're going to be talking a little Bigfoot, and then stay tuned. We're going to be talking about legendary psychic medium Peter James. We've got a lot coming up for you this evening. Stay tuned. You're listening to the best in paranormal talk radio.